Yeah, in last class, we discussed about the text view and button. After that, we discussed about the checkbox. So today, here, we will see the next component, after checkbox. So there is a similar two more components are there. So those two we will see here today. So that is one is the switch, other is the toggle button. So switch and toggle both are almost it is a similar as this text view, like checkbox. So, but this we will use in a different scenarios. So that once we will see the output, after that we will discuss about the scenarios. So here, as usually, this constraint layout, I'm changing to linear because we are discussing with examples with now linear layout. So I'm changing this to linear layout. And here I'm changing the orientation. So here I'm adding the orientation. So orientation, that is vertical. Right, for this text, I'll remove this text to properties. And here I'll add the one ID for this. So that is ID TV1. So other properties, text color, text size that we already added yesterday. So same properties, just I'm adding here again. So text all caps true. Next, text color. So hash something color I gave. Then text size. Text size 20 sp. Right, then I'll give margin and pattern, then we can go with this. So margin 5D. Okay. Right. So now here I'll take the switch. So switch is nothing but like Wi-Fi turn off, turn on, turn off, and Bluetooth turn off. So in that type it should be. So for this here now, I'm adding one ID for this. So that is this one, because we cannot give the switch, means whatever the IDs. So IDs, whenever we are giving the IDs, that could not be any predefined methods or class name, so that we cannot give. So that's the reason I'm giving like that. So for this, I can give the text also. So text I'm giving as or understandable, that is switch. So this is the text. So for this text, so we can apply these properties. So just I copy and I'll apply these properties here, right? So once I apply these properties here, so here I can close that, right? Now here, so we will apply the listener for this. So if you want to apply listener here, we will give, so here we will give data binding. So that is layout. So I'm giving here the layout. Then I'll close after this linear layout. So I'll close the data binding. So once we give the data binding here in a Gradle scripts, so here we need to enable the data binding. This we already seen. So that is a common process for all the projects. So data binding enable equal to true. So just added data binding enable equal to true. Now I'm clicking on sync now. So once it is syncing here, we will enable that data binding and we will apply the listener for the button. So meanwhile, I'll write here. So where binding colon. So that is activity main binding, because Our XML name is activity main. So that followed by binding, this always it will be created with the same name, that is. So inside the content view, so that we will add here binding equal to, so that is data binding util dot set content. Right here, we need to add the context. So that about the super class. Right? So once we import these two things, then we can apply for the next step. Yeah. So this we have to import. So by clicking Alt Enter, I'm importing that. Right, then this data binding it will also we need to import. Data binding. So we'll import that. Right, then we are applying the listener now. So that is binding that. So we gave it the S1. Right, for S1, I'm applying the listener. So that is a switch. So for this also, we will apply the same listener what we discussed yesterday. That is on set on checked change listener. So this is also we'll use the on checked change. So this is also same like yesterday. View and checked is the return type is checked. So here now I'm applying if is checked, if is checked. So already we seen this is a true condition, right? So for the same button, we will apply, we'll add now this button. So binding dot tv1 dot. So text, we are setting some text. So that is here. I say this is a S on. All right. So here I'll write the else. So here binding dot. So that is tv1 dot text equal to t off. Right. So now I'm running this application. We will see this output. Then we will add one more component. So meanwhile, I'll install here Visor. So right now Visor is not there. Visor download. Yeah, this is the first project today after this environment I'm running. Maybe it will take a little bit time.
Okay.
It is done. Okay, still it is running. Meanwhile, we'll install this visor. Yeah, that is done, but this is taking time. Okay, so meanwhile, we will add one more component here. So it is taking time. So here, after this, there is one more similar component. So that is the toggle button. So I'll add the toggle button. So nowadays, mostly we are not using this toggle button, but in a previous days, this we will use instead of the switch. So once that switch has introduced, now we are mostly not using that toggle button. So for toggle button is also like just it is on and off. So here I'll add one ID for this. ID. So that is at the rate plus side. So that is I'll give the toggle. So for this, we can give only margin because the text could not displayed in this component. If you want, you can add separately. So just I'll give these properties for this. So for this, if you want to write a listener so that we can able to write within a Kotlin file. So in a Kotlin file, we will write that listener. Right. So in a Kotlin file, so similar, we will write the listener for this. So that is binding dot. So that is binding dot. So we added that is a toggle, right? So toggle dot. So whatever the listener we used in above, it is the same listener we will use here. So that is on check could change listener. So on check change listener. So this is also have button view and is checked. So that is. So even for this also we can apply the same. So here.
So this button view and is checked or kind of predefined.
Yes, it is a written type of that. Like what is the, like once we use the listener, right? So what it is giving the return, that it will define that.
Okay.
So here in Kotlin, what happens? The whatever the inner content, it could not be visible. Let us, if you same thing, if I open in Java, let us say on click listener, on click listener, Android. So if we open on click listener in Android with Java code. See, if you open this with the Java code, see here how it will show. See, this is the one on click listener view V. It is showing that view V like this. It will show this. So it will show view V like this. Same. Like this is the return type. What is the return type? Here it will be created only the shortcut. It won't show fully. It is only show the shortcut. Whatever this is, it will show only that particular function. Right now, we can see
okay.
here.
In Kotlin, we will see only defined variables. We can't see the type of the variable. That's okay.
See here, this is the output here. Now,
So this pattern is lambda pattern, that arrow and the function
yes,
if check.
yes, exactly. Almost it is similar. Like, see, it is yes on. This is the on and off. See, text is changing. Right. So now this one we added, right? So I'll run this now so that the complete both we can see here. So almost it's Kotlin is like similar, like after Java 8.0 and 9.0, what are the features are updated. So with that updates, this feature, this will be like, this will be created for that, like that, similar. So what are the latest features are there? Almost all the latest features are added into this. So this three, like toggle, switch, and checkbox. So most of the cases we will use nowadays checkbox, because checkbox is the multi-selection. So in the majority of the cases we will use the checkbox. And after that, switch some places like Wi-Fi turn off and settings enable disable. So on such cases we will use a switch, but nowadays this toggle button we are not using. So these three coding wise it is a similar the still component, but the looking wise and the usage wise it will be the different that depends on the situation that will be applicable. That is right. So next here a similar component one more, that is a radio button. So after this we will see the radio button. So the radio button is nothing but it is only one selection. Here we can select multiple, but there either you can select one, only one. So that we will see here after this running this program, we will see that. But radio buttons we cannot do independently. That radio buttons, whatever the radio buttons are there, that we have to always combine as a group, because we want to select a gender. Let us say I want to select a gender. There I have to add two elements. One is for the one for male, one for female, like that we have to add. So that two, those two you should add as a group, then only those will work simultaneously. Like if I select this, that could be disabled. If I select that, it could be disabled. Like that it will work. That so that we have to see. So now we'll see once it is run. It's taking too much time to run this. So for your case, it's already Android work is assigning to you, or you have some time to assign the work. Okay, this is also taking too much time. So meanwhile, we will add that radio buttons and radio group here in the UI. So here, so we have to add those components as a radio group. As I told, first we have to add the radio. So I'll add here radio group. So within a radio group, we have to add the components. So I'm adding the radio group here. Radio group. So this radio group also has some height and width, right? So I'll change this match parent and wrap content. So for this, we have to give one ID, because even listener also we will apply as per this only. So we have to add ID. So that is here I add @ID. So that is the RG radio group, right? Then here I'll add one this. I'll add one something this like orientation. So for this, we can add orientation also. So we have to add the orientation. So the orientation has, so that is horizontal. I'm adding the orientation has horizontal. Yeah, I think that one launched. Horizontal, just we'll add the orientation horizontal. So then I close. So I'll close this is like this. Because within this we have to add the other components, right? So now we will see here. So here we have to add the output, but meanwhile this is already run. We will see that output and we will add this. See, just I'm unlocking my device. I think Wiser is little bit, so I already unlocked my device. See now, this is here. I'm clicking on this. So T on, T off, S on, S off. Like this, it is working. Like this. So this is about the this. Now, so within this, now I have to create a radio button. So I'm creating here radio button. So that is the first button, radio button. So match parent, wrap content. So ID, that is @ ID, that is radio button 1. So RB1, I'll give the RB1. So for this now, we have to add the text. So we'll apply the text property here. So the text is, so I'll add the text as mail. So I'll close this. But here this is we given the orientation right, horizontal right. So I'll give this also wrap content. So then similar, I want one more radio button. So I'll add one more radio button. So that is here. I'll add RB2. So here I'll add this is the female, right? Now for this, if you want, like we can add some margin also. I'll add margin 5 dp. Here margin 5 dp. So for both, I added the margin 5 dp, right? Now for this, we will apply listener here. So if I want to apply listener here, as I told, here we will apply the listener for the component that is a group, not a for individual item. So that is the reason here, binding dot. So that is a listener RC for radio group. We have to apply the listener for the radio group. So RG dot. So for the same listener, we will apply. So that is the set unchecked change listener, but return type should be different for this case. So why I'll tell you here. So check unchecked change listener. So here the return type has came checked ID. So here instead of the Boolean, something else has came, it's checked ID, because as of 3 means as of now, as of 3, what we discussed, those 3 components has a single component has multiple status. But this is the 2 buttons, different buttons having the status, like different status, right? So different button, different status. So that's the reason we have to handle this with checked ID. So that is the checked ID, whatever this ID has came here. So that is checked ID equal to r.id dot. So from there you have to select one button. So that is the RB1, radio button 1. So if you select the radio button 1, so it is giving something else we want to give something. So but here now I don't want to apply this for the text view. Instead of the text view, here I'll add one small component, that is the toast. So this toast is the one of the component that is belongs to dialogues. So this is the under family of dialogues. So here the toast will define many things. Like here, this toast means it will display the text up to certain time. After that, it disappear automatically after some time. So what we will write here, toast that make text. First here we will write the context. So context, I'll explain you what is what here. Context, then message, then duration. So this is the syntax of the toast. So here we will write this toast like this. So context and message, then duration. So context means which refer the superclass. But here the context we will define in multiple ways. Like here context. So context will define in multiple ways. That is here first this at the rate class name. So whatever this is there, like this we will define the class name. Sometimes we will define this. Sometimes we will write this get application context. So get application context, and sometimes get context. So in these four different ways, we will write the context. Means the context is nothing but which refers superclass. But whenever which is referring the superclass, this must should be extended as some type of activity. Then only that we can say as a context. In case if it is referring the superclass, but that is not extended as an activity, that we cannot say as the context. So just it is reference, but it is not a context, right? So the next here, message part. So message part also we can give multiple ways. So one is like here we can give manual. So like as of what is my requirement? As for my requirement, I give manual. Some like next is the from functional. Like from functional, we can give from the functional. Next is from the server side. So whenever we are working with the web service, whatever the data we are getting from server side, that also we can give here. Next, last, that is the duration. So the duration here we can give two types here. One is the long. So this is the long, means it will display 7 seconds. Next is the short. This it will display 3 seconds. So like this we will give the toast. Means not only this toast, see here first two component, last one it's only belongs to the toast, but for the first two, context and message. So in entire our course, where I want context, I can use in these these four ways, and where the message, that I can use in the same like this these three ways. Like that I can use in entire. Like next time when I got the context, I say that this is a context, so I'm using like that. So like that I will use. So here now I'm writing the toast dot make text. So this comma, here I'm writing manual. So this is the second one, is the first one is a male, so I'm writing here female, then toast dot length long. So finally it is a dot show, right? So here I'll write again this toast here. So toast dot, so toast dot make text. So this comma, here this is male, right? So I'll write male, then toast dot length long. So for this I'll write the short. So to understand that, so I'm writing that long and short, right? Now done. So this I'm running. Now we will see this output here. Means from next program onwards, now I want to use only this component. Like whenever the text component we want to show, instead of creating the text and all, directly I can show this only. And it is running. So running taking too much time today. Maybe this because of new. Yeah, it is done. Now it is launching. You will see here. Yeah, see now I'm selecting this male. It is saying this male. So I'm selecting this female. It is see, it is little bit lengthy. It is disappearing immediately. So because of the short and long. Right. So okay, this so because of system is a bit slow, also like we can see the other components tomorrow.